Clearance sales at Arsenal. PSG are considering spending an absolutely insane amount of money for one player, even by their standards. Joe Hart gets loaned, Pepe Reina could be bought, and Claudio Bravo might be left out in the cold. Kylian Mbappe might be on a plane, who knows, and Manchester United had a strange time in Utah. It's Tuesday, July 18th, which means happy birthday to goalkeeper Greg Ranjitsingh. If you can find me a better Canadian-born Trinidad and Tobago representing goalkeeper playing for Louisville City in the USL, then you're definitely lying about your ability to do that. I'm Taylor Rockwell, filling in for Dale Grove, who decided that the jungle climate of Virginia in the summer didn't suit his English sensibilities and instead fled to northern Michigan. From Dirty Tackle, Howler Magazine, and the Total Soccer Show, this is The Goalmouth, your daily serving of bite-sized soccer news. Up first, according to Wikipedia, that most reputable of sources, Arsenal currently has a total of 35 players on the senior roster. However, if significantly less reputable sources are to be believed, that number will soon drop to 30. That's because various sources around the globe have reported that Matthew Debussy is currently in Nice undergoing a medical, Sampdoria have made a £6 million bid for Jack Wilshere, West Brom think they can land Kieran Gibbs for £10 to £12 million, Callum Chambers could move to Crystal Palace for £20 million, and Wojciech Szczesny, I apologize for that pronunciation, will soon be a Juventus player if Arsenal agree to their £10 million offer. Again, some of those moves probably won't happen, most notably the Debussy deal, much to the chagrin of most Arsenal fans. If everything did go through, then Arsenal could be looking at a nice windfall of around £46 million. That number could end up tripling by the end of the window if PSG has anything to say about it. The league-owned Giants are reportedly very interested in Alexis Sanchez and have already spoken with the Chilean about his wage demands. They are aware that they would need to rival and likely exceed the fee of around $50 million supposedly offered by Manchester City. For his part, Arsene Wenger remains adamant that both Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil will remain in London next season, even if it means losing both players to free transfers when their contracts expire next July. Said Wenger, quote, "The decision has been made and we will stick to that. The decision is not to sell," end quote. So, with the Sanchez rumors quashed for today, the tabloid press have turned their attention back in the direction of PSG. According to the actually somewhat reliable Gianluca Di Marzio, the Parisians are prepared to offer, wait for it, 222 million euros to trigger Neymar's buyout clause from Barcelona. So that's a pretty stunning figure and would surely be enough to tempt any club into selling, except that it isn't. Barcelona Vice President Jordi Mestre stated that the Brazilian wouldn't be leaving the club for any amount of money and added that, quote, "Neymar will 200% stay at Barcelona," end quote. While that technically isn't possible, because I believe you can only do something 100%, you get the gist of the message. So, that's the rumor mill dealt with today. I'm confident all the crazy big move rumors are sorted. But let me just go check soccer Twitter for 5 seconds to make sure. Okay, I see it's being reported that Kylian Mbappe has landed in Madrid. So there's that. If the teenager signs for Real, then everyone appears very confident that Alvaro Morata will be sold to Chelsea, so keep your ears peeled for that. Transfer rumor merry-go-round time, and it's a goalkeeper edition. As reported by Sky Sports News, Joe Hart has passed his West Ham medical ahead of his proposed loan move from Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, therefore, won't have the opportunity to scream at the occasionally great, occasionally howler-prone Englishman. So he'll be turning to a formerly great, occasionally howler-prone Spaniard. James Ducker at The Telegraph suggests that a deal for Pepe Reina is close to completion, with the former Liverpool shot-stopper likely to serve as a backup for 23-year-old Ederson, who was signed from Benfica earlier this summer. The situation leaves Claudio Bravo in a bit of a precarious spot. Best case scenario is he'll be an intermittent starter for City. Middle best is that he gets some sort of move to a club where he'll start. And worst is that he spends the season before World Cup sitting around cashing checks. Then again, I think all of those scenarios are better than getting screamed at by Pep Guardiola on a regular basis. So, silver linings. And finally, Manchester United played Real Salt Lake in a preseason friendly on Monday evening and came away with a 2-1 victory. Romelu Lukaku notably scored his first for his new club, but the talking point of the day was the red card handed out to Antonio Valencia for a hard foul on Sebastian Salcedo, who had earlier put in a tough tackle on Juan Mata, forcing the Spaniard to be substituted. Since the game was a friendly, it seems the official wasn't too inclined to hand out a red card, so he instead asked Jose Mourinho to substitute Antonio Valencia, who was serving as club captain. When Mourinho refused, the red card came out. As I said, this was a preseason game, and these types of fixtures generally aren't too useful, but in this case, the match could be absolutely vital, as it gave Mourinho some nice warm-up practice for blaming the officials for anything that goes wrong with the Red Devils. Normally, he's just got to wait for the season to start and jump right into it. It can be a little bit tiring, it can be a little bit exhausting, but now he's got preseason to roll out, work on the red card excuses, how the ref was against us, how the decision makes no sense. Now he's got some practice heading into the season, and that means he'll be at mid-season form right out of the gate, and I'm sure the British press will love that. And with that, we've come to the end of today's Goalmouth episode. You can explore all these stories in more depth by subscribing to our newsletter. The link, as ever, is in the show notes. I've been Taylor Rockwell. George Qureshi will be with you tomorrow, but until then, I'll leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. Contrary to popular belief, it's actually a hard knock life for both Little Orphan Annie and any Manchester City goalkeeper who ever thinks about kicking the ball long.